Welcome, I'm Addison.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Marc.
This is our podcast where we review shows, films, comics, whatever you want, and share our very, very hot takes, tepid takes on all that stuff. So welcome to the Tepid Take. What up? It is your boy. Welcome back to the Tepid Take.
Just amazed by that intro. Speechless
And
comes
for
to mind.
everyone that doesn't have a camera is because he looks like a boy right now. He did shave his beard off recently.
It's like being back at uni with him.
How long's it been, Addison?
Since what?
Since you had your last had a beard, like a full beard,
3 days ago?
and now it's completely gone.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you
Amazing.
for outing me out on the podcast.
You're very welcome.
Well, this week we are mostly looking at Resident Evil with a couple of other things thrown in.
Sounds like you're cooking something.
Matt,
Sounds like
what have you been doing?
Well, I've been cooking Mass Effect.
Cooking?
No, don't worry. You clearly didn't hear what I said before. So yes, I mean, I've been playing Resident Evil 8, obviously, but I'll talk about that later. But I also got the new Mass Effect trilogy that's been remastered. I've not played a lot of it, but I've played a lot of Mass Effect, so I feel like I could probably talk about Mass Effect.
So have you only started the first one up so far?
Yeah, so I'm doing like the first level at the moment, so it's not, I've not really done much majorly in it, but you can already see like it's going to be a couple times in this episode where I'm going to get really technical nerd-y with like graphics.
Oh yay!
Yeah.
Oh yay!
Because like they've upscaled this to like 4K now, and they've like made all the textures better, and it just looks a lot more like polished, and I don't know, it's just a lot more cinematic. Like at the start on Eden Prime, it's like the first level. You see the Reaper with a massive ship fly off in the background, and it just looks phenomenal. It looks so good. So from I looked at it going up into the sky, but you can see what they've actually done. If you keep looking up at it, they just shrink the image, and it just shrinks into a little dot.
Oh my god, it's like a really
Fantastic.
bad edit on a.
It
on, like, a
is,
student
yeah.
film
I
or
guess
something.
no one's really meant to look at that. I just decided I would. I don't know why. It
You
just
just
got
in
like
awe.
smaller.
That's even done on the remaster.
Yeah, that's in the remaster. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Because that game first came out 2006.
Yeah, I think we talked about it
Must be,
slightly
yeah.
on the last podcast, didn't we? I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was 2006, and you could definitely tell it's a 2006 game because it is very dated. I will say that. Which is not his fault. You know, that's what it is. You know, that for them to remake it would be a huge task. I imagine that would be another 10 years. Yeah. Probably even think about that. But yeah, I mean, like graphically, it looks phenomenal for a 2006 game. They've definitely done a good job. They've got the most out of, because it's made on the Unreal 3 engine, I think.
Okay.
Whereas newer games are on 4, so they've kind of maximized what that engine can do with that game. And like, I can't really remember.
So they haven't remade it as such. These are pure
No,
remasters.
no, they're all remasters. They're not remakes.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they're not. They've changed some things. Like they've changed some like mechanics of the game and everything.
Yeah, because my first questions were going to be about combat and the Mako.
Yeah, I haven't done the Mako yet,
Yeah.
but I know they have changed it, haven't they?
Yeah.
But combat wise, it does feel a lot more like Mass Effect 2, where it's a lot more fluid.
Yeah.
And it just seems to work nicely. I can't really remember what it was like in Mass Effect when it first came out. I love the game. I remember the story really well, but the gameplay it wasn't the best one, that's for sure. But for gameplay,
Yeah, because I've only played the first two, and then at some point got a new Xbox before 3 came out, and because I didn't want to go into 3 without having the backstory that I'd played,
yeah,
I always meant to go through the first two again, but whenever I tried going back to one, I just couldn't.
No,
It was
it's
just too.
Yeah.
It was too dated by that point.
I imagine it's really difficult, actually. Yeah, it's even now. It's kind of the graphics are amazing, but you could tell the gameplay is definitely, 15-year-old gameplay. It's not polished, and like the facial animations, because now all the facial animations in games now they're all done by motion capture. They aren't in this game.
But I imagine that's what really sticks out.
You can't see this. I'm gonna have to explain this because you won't be able to see this on the podcast. But they're flapping their mouths, so I'm just like a fish, like a carp or something. Yeah.
You look like you look like Beaker the Muppet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're a bit like that, and it's fine. Again, I keep making excuses. 15-year-old game. It is what it is. There's not much you can do about it, really. But
I would get used to that phrase on this episode, by the way.
yeah, there is that. Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil's older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what I've played with it so far, it's a really nice remaster, and I can't wait to get into it. The one thing, it's Mass Effect is my favorite game series ever, and it's not a Mattism.
Yeah.
That is just my favorite game series ever. I love sci-fi stuff. I love space exploration, and it's kind of
it's one of your few favourites where you've said it, and I've not immediately gone, Jesus Christ, Matt.
Yeah, yeah. This is
this one
this
one fits more.
Yeah, this is me. Maybe it's films I just don't know what I'm talking about. But
No comment.
I'm just gonna play some of the music because the music is just so good. That's the intro music, and I don't know what it is. It was kind of the first game. I think I said it on the last podcast. It was the first game that I thought was quite cinematic, and it was had a bit more risk in it in how it was made, where there was a lot more. You could do a lot more in it. There was more of an RPG than most games had already been. I mean, there were games around, but I think Mass Effect was one of those first series. I don't know what you gents think about it.
Yeah, well, I play that game for interacting with the crew. And trying to make them all happy. That is why I play that game.
That's the thing, isn't it? I feel like Mass Effect is held up by the story and characters. I think that's why, despite its, the graphical limitations of the time that, kind of rear their head when you go back to it now. I think just that story and especially the characters are kind of what get you through it.
Definitely. Yeah,
I'd agree.
That is definitely one thing that really stands out with Mass Effect. I did play Mass Effect Andromeda when it came out, and I really liked it, but I think I was a bit biased because I do love Mass Effect. I know a lot of people don't like that game. I mean, the crew aren't as good on that one, but the gameplay of that one is the best Mass Effect for gameplay.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm kind of hoping when I go into 2 and 3 that the gameplay's going to be a bit more like that.
Yeah, for me, it is just the opportunity of finally finishing that trilogy.
Yeah. I don't know which... I know there was 2 endings for 3, and I don't know which one I actually end up playing.
That's right,
I thought they had 3.
Well, no, because they did an ending.
Middle?
They did an ending.
Yeah.
And then they went back on it because the fans hated it. So they did another ending for it, which is the 3 endings.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
and then
was that DLC or
no?
Extend the story? It was just a completely different ending.
I think it was DLC, but it was free. But it was because people weren't happy with the ending, so they decided to change the ending.
Yeah, it's weird because I absolutely loved the first Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2, and then I don't know why I just.
I think Mass Effect 3 was a bit too combat heavy.
Yeah, so I never properly played it, which is weird. I don't know why. I just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
but then I think
it was a lot
of
multiplayer on 3. Weirdly, don't know why.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, I forgot there was a multiplayer. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think someone mentioned that they haven't said no to bringing it back, but it sounds pretty unlikely at the moment.
I think maybe they'll do it for the next one when they're bringing out the next Mass Effect, which I'm gonna book 4 weeks
Do we know
off.
what they're doing? Are they doing another Andromeda or doing
No,
four?
it's actually with
Yeah.
Shepard, supposedly.
Yeah, they kind of
Nice
teased it,
spoiler
didn't they?
alerts.
I mean, is that spoiler alert?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Played it.
They've only done a teaser
Could be.
trailer so far, but it's suggested that it's going to be based in the Shepard universe instead of
Cool.
whoever the other guy is.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
That memorable guy.
Yeah. They're like twins or something, weren't they? In Andromeda.
Oh yeah, and you could be
pick
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually went for
Oh,
Fem
I
Shep
see.
this time around.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah,
I
I want
So I played it through
that.
as Man Shep. Is that what he's called?
Man Shep.
Shep match.
Sounds like a product, like a shaving
Yeah.
product.
Tom Shepperman.
It's just going to come out every episode.
My
But
favorite things.
yeah, I thought I'd change it up this time around. Play as Fem Shep. Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't do like a default model for her until 3. Is that right? Because I think
no, they did in
had
the second
default
one.
models, but they on the
Cover art.
marketing and stuff
Yeah.
didn't put her
Yeah.
until 3, I think.
that's right.
Yeah, I think they might have made that character in 2, that default character in 2, but then they
Oh, okay.
obviously didn't do any cover art till 3. I don't think for her, which is ridiculous when you think about it. That's
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
Was it like a reversible cover on the 3rd one?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
You could,
yeah.
like pick your.
You could pick whoever you
Whoever you
wanted.
pick.
Yeah.
I
the
think-
cover.
She does look as like the default design. She looks way better than Manshep, because I
Oh yeah,
always found
definitely. Yeah,
Manshep
I never liked
boring as
Manship.
fuck.
No,
yeah,
yeah.
it just looks
He was meant to be Mr. Generic though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Generic
yeah.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
definitely, yeah.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's such a good game series though. Like, it's,
yeah.
it's a time sink. I will say that.
That's the thing, isn't it?
You have to spend a lot of hours on it, and I'm looking forward to that, but I'm not looking forward to that at the same time. I need to finish Resident Evil first before.
Yeah,
That's
why-
that's fair.
Yeah.
I've been a bit hesitant to buy it because
Yeah.
I bought Resident Evil 8 and that's all I could afford this month anyway.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go Mass Effect before Resident Evil 8.
Oh wow! Oh, interesting. Okay.
Purely because I think
you-
I'm a bit Resident Evil'd out.
So you'll play Resident
Yeah.
Evil 8 in 2023 then?
Yeah, knowing me, probably even later than that.
It'll be the same time as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Right.
Yeah.
that's my worry about Mass Effect is like, do I have the same time that I did as a teenager?
I know that
Which
is the
probably
worry.
no.
Yeah. I think 3 come out when we were at uni.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have
Yeah.
done, yeah.
Sounds about
obviously we had
right.
More time. Yeah.
So I played the shit out of 1 and 2 in 6th form.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God yeah.
Oh, so good. I actually I got so into the series at one point that I got one of the like prequel novels,
Oh my
which
god.
was
Yeah,
like followed
nice,
like
yeah.
Saren and
Wow, deep dive.
and, his name Anderson.
Oh yeah.
So speaking of time sinks and favourite games,
Oh yeah.
Sam, what have you been doing?
Metal Gear. So recently, I was
These
doing the
segues are
sound
getting worse.
yeah. So I recently picked up the graphic novel adaptation of the first Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh my god, Metal Gear!
There we go, there it is. I thought I saw Matt
I
click.
pressed that so long ago.
I was waiting for it. I was like, it's going to turn off any second. So I read the graphic novel or comic book adaptation of the Metal Gear Solid, which is like the adaptation of the first game.
Okay.
So this came out. It was actually published in 2004, which
Oh wow.
still kind of in my mind feels recent. But
It's
that's
older
what
than
I-
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think of the 90s as being like the last decade. I was like,
It wasn't the 90s.
Well, the game came out in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
So fuck off.
No.
So is this covering just the first game?
Yeah. So this one covers the first game. You can get an omnibus version which covers the first and the second game, but
Okay.
it goes for like over £100, which
Whoa.
I'm not ready
Wow.
to.
Yeah, that's pretty
Are they quite
ridiculous,
long then?
yeah.
Is it quite long?
Are they quite long? Yeah.
The first one is
To read.
yeah, to start measuring up the graphic novel. Yeah, it's like about 40 centimeters tall.
About 2 inches thick.
It's a mic stand right now.
Yeah, I mean the first one is quite a hefty graphic novel. I'm trying to see if it's got page numbers. No, it doesn't. But yeah, the first one alone is.
I think you should stop and count them.
Right, hold on.
No,
Right,
I'm joking. Don't do that.
2. But yeah, it's pretty cool how because obviously speaking of kind of like cinematic games, the first Metal Gear Solid game is obviously like kind of known as like the first video game that went truly kind of had cinematic cutscenes and actually like good voice actors, which compared to Resident Evil.
Oh God,
we'll probably have some. We might have some sound bites of later.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
if
we'll see.
the laptop works. So it's pretty cool, like how kind of easily it translates to like the comic book page. And the artwork is by a guy named Ashley Woods. Who
does it fit those covers they have? The kind of like watercolor.
No, it doesn't actually.
Because I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's weird
that would be
that
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I forget the name of the artist who does those, but yeah, you would kind of expect them to fully go with that art style, but they've actually gone away from that.
I can imagine that's quite difficult to do as like a whole book of artwork.
Yeah,
That take ages. Jeez. Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because they're so
It'd be hard to follow, I imagine, as well.
Yeah. Although
with, like no color. Yeah.
Yeah, saying that the artwork kind of has a bit of like an abstract quality to it. Anyway, you're able to kind of follow it, like just the way the kind of page is structured. But it's quite cool because the artwork that was done in this comic book was then used for the cutscenes in the portable games. So you had like Portable Ops and Peace Walker, because obviously the
yeah,
that's cool.
hardware of those.
I was thinking of that when you said it, actually.
Yeah. So what they use for those cutscenes is kind of what this comic book looks like.
Okay, yeah.
So it's really cool. It's just amazing. And yeah, it's Ashley Wood who did the artwork for that. Another cool thing about it as well is obviously it's based on a video game, so you have like boss battles in the video games, and that's how video games worked. But
any viewers who don't play video games,
yeah, there's a fun.
I thought it was just a walkthrough.
Just a walking simulator. But one of the most like iconic boss battles in Metal Gear Solid is with the character Psycho Mantis.
Yeah,
and it's if you don't know,
it's one I've heard of.
yeah. I don't think you played
good boss battle.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was really like out of the box. So the kind of the gimmick was, one thing was that he like read your mind by reading your memory card. So he'd be like, "Oh, I see you like Crash Bandicoot," shit like that, which is a bit gimmicky. But
I was always really impressed with that until I found out he only did it to other Konami games or something, right?
Oh yeah, because
so he wouldn't pick up something like Crash Bandicoot.
No, the common one is Castlevania is the one
right.
that he's most quoted for saying. But then
when I found that out, I was a bit like,
it's not as good.
I imagine that's Konami, isn't it? Though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super impressive for the hardware.
I can imagine why they had to do it like that.
Yeah.
But
or like rights
a part of me was a bit like, oh, that's just a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, do you know? I did actually know that. You've taught me a Metal Gear
sorry.
Solid fact. You've ruined it.
He now hates Metal Gear Solid.
Right. Yeah. I'm stopping this review. It's over.
That's the last reference.
Psycho Mantis doesn't know that I play Crash Bandicoot.
He needs to know.
So, as someone who hasn't played any of them and can't really at the moment because they're not on everything.
Yeah, not really easy access.
Is this a good alternative, or would you say no, bin it off, go get the game?
I think you can like.
So this is the story of the first one, is it?
Yeah. Follows the first game. Okay. So I think.
Did you say that already?
I think so. Yeah.
Twice.
It's like the Switch episode.
Yeah.
I knew it as soon as I saw Addison's face.
I think you could pick this up and like follow it. It's not, it's quite funny because Metal Gear Solid is known to have like it got more and more convoluted as the series went on.
Yeah.
But whereas like the first one, it's quite a contained story, and I feel like if you did pick this up, like you said, it's really hard to play the original first one, or they never remastered the remake of the first one, which came out on GameCube. So I think if you're into comics and you just kind of want to know what is the story of Metal Gear and who are the characters, I think it's definitely a good alternative to pick this up. And that's the thing with like the bosses in the game, because they're so like charismatic, and some of them have like a supernatural quality to them. That again, it just translates really well to like comic book pages. They almost feel like the villains, like super villains in a way.
Yeah.
And
I would love to get into them at some point.
They are good games. I might not like 3 that much, but
they
are definitely worth playing. I think they're definitely worth playing. I think.
It's just not in me to play a 25-year-old video game series.
It is hard to
all the
go
way
back
through.
to. Yeah, definitely.
What about watching a 25-year-old film?
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah. I think on YouTube someone's done like
watching
when they
a
just take all the
25-year-old
cutscenes.
film. Pretty sure Star Wars.
He's referencing Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I'm referencing the fact that I've done that with Resident Evil this week.
And you did it with God of War, didn't you? Didn't you like play through all of those?
I did actually. Yeah, I did get
Did
through
you?
most of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only ones I didn't play were the PSP ones.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're not a true fan, then, are you?
I guess not.
But no, I would say it's a great adaptation, and I managed to get it for about 20-30 quid off eBay. They don't really like publish any new prints of it, so
Was this? It sounds like a very limited print then, or something.
I think so. Yeah. Like the second one is, like I said, it's so expensive to pick up.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, but yeah.
So it'd probably be cheaper to eBay a PlayStation, an old PlayStation, get the old
and
games.
then just play it. Yeah.
Probably would, yeah.
Get a CRT probably to play it on as well to really get the authentic 90s feel.
I always remember at university.
God, here we go.
We played Dead Space on a CRT monitor. Oh my god, you couldn't even read the text.
That was mine.
Yeah.
I remember.
Hilarious.
Yeah, because that was
What does
before
that say?
I think that was before I'd truly seen an HD TV. So I was like,
Didn't believe in it. Is that what it
yeah,
is?
yeah. I was like, why can I not read the text?
I to this day remember getting a HDMI cable for my Xbox 360 and plugging in Dead Rising and finally being able to read the fucking text on that game.
Yeah, because that was tiny, wasn't it? The text in that game.
Yeah.
Text must have had to
ridiculously
have been massive before that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Or you sit really close.
I don't know if that would help. Just spread it out more.
Spread it out.
Cool. Sounds good. Speaking of things that are good, because I have no other way to segue this.
So how are we gonna?
Wow.
I was going to say, things that are more available than this comic.
Oh yeah, that's better. Do what Mark said. That one. I watched The Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix.
Me.
So has anyone watched or seen anything about this?
Seen the trailer.
I did. I watched it on the weekend.
Did you?
I also
What do
saw
you
the
think?
trailer.
Well, I only watched it because you were like, I'm going to talk about it in the podcast. I thought, well, I may as well watch it, come along, and then I'll hijack your topic.
Yes.
I'll talk over you the whole time.
How's it feel, Addison?
No, I think the really
tables have
intriguing thing,
turned.
which I know you're going to say it, but the thing that really intrigued me and caused me to watch the film was because of the design.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck you. I might as well just leave this podcast.
It's the
Yes,
same animators
it's-
as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, isn't it?
So it's the same producers, I believe, and obviously the same animation studio, which is Sony Animation.
Yeah.
But they do quite a few things. So is it, yeah.
Like what?
I'm pretty sure they do like Smurfs and shit like that.
They're like the Pixar of animated films, aren't they?
So, for anyone who doesn't know what this film is, the title is awful. Oh, I've got to say straight off the bat. But it is about this family that's follows this teenage girl who's just about to go off to film school. And she's clashing a lot with her dad because he doesn't really understand the films that she makes and stuff.
Been there.
So there's
Being
that.
there, yeah.
You don't understand my films. My art.
You don't understand me, Mom. So there's that conflict, and they decide to do a road trip to take her to film school, during which a evil AI takes over the fake Apple company, as it were.
Is it Siri? Is it basically Siri?
It's basically Siri. It's basically Apple.
I know. My phone thinks I'm talking to it.
Oh my god! It's
Coming alive!
So listen.
So they launch a new model of AI, which is this time robots, to replace your mobile phone's AI and stuff like that. But then they immediately turn evil and attack the family, and it is just then about
Is this basically iRobot?
the family.
iRobot's kind of like that, right?
Did you say iRobot? Yeah, that's my one big kind of glaring thing while I was watching it, is that they're robots that have gone bad, and they managed to choose robots that looked very similar to the iRobot.
Oh,
one.
really?
They could have gone with any design choices.
Wow.
Do they?
They're like,
Yeah, that's kind of my instant thought was, oh, iRobot.
Oh, weird. I just thought they looked like generic robots, to be honest, but maybe that's kind of what you
I
mean.
guess that is what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not murder him. Sorry.
I did not murder him.
That's what Matt shouts that every now and then.
I do, yeah. I love that for it. Alan Tudyk, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Where the fuck was I?
Robots.
Sorry. Robots.
Robots.
AI.
Yeah. So
This is why you take notes.
it wasn't the notes
she
that threw me
whispered.
there. Yes. So the robots attack, and the family has to kind of settle their differences.
So you're saying it's Mitchell's versus the machines?
It is indeed.
Oh,
It's a very
no.
accurate title. It is still a boring as fuck title.
Yeah.
The main hook here is the producers, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I think it is, who did the Spider-Man film. They also directed the first Lego movie, the Jump Streets. So the reason to watch it is because of those two being involved, who I like all their films that they've been involved in, basically. Although these are the guys who got fired from Han Solo.
Yeah, which is kind of weird when you kind of see how that film turned out. I think I would have preferred their version.
Probably,
Yeah, so would I.
I hope they, in their scripts, they didn't have the line when Han Solo gets his surname.
So stupid.
Oh my god. You remember that one?
I can't remember that.
If he was a Lord, he'd be Lord Solo.
I have no house. Lord Solo.
Solo. Such a stupid pit.
Oh.
The Mitchells versus the Machines, though, is a very simple plot. It kind of goes exactly where you expect it to go, but the animation is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
In that, it's different from Into the Spider-Verse, because that's obviously recreating the look of a comic book, which
I imagine
isn't so tied down by
there's restrictions, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird because I was trying to place what was so odd about it, and I never quite got it. But it's super realistic and detailed, while at the same time very clearly a cartoon. It was really weird. I don't know what you thought about it, Mark.
Yeah, I think it almost borders on not like the claymation kind of style that you get, kind of the newer.
I think that's it. It's almost that. It feels like someone's held this and done something with it.
Okay.
But it is just CG, as far as I'm aware.
Did they do that kind of like that weird kind of frame rate effect like you get in Spider-Man?
Oh, half framing.
Half framing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they did in this. They could have done, and maybe that's why it feels odd. But
They did for some sections. There was a bit, wasn't there, with the kind of opening credits as well. They did it then. That's when you get the real feel of like, this is the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Animators. You can feel they've touched this film as well as what else they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got it because I just came across the trailer on Netflix, and like it's weird, isn't it? Because like you can just tell it's the same animators, even though it doesn't look identical to Spider-Verse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's something to it.
They're just both very unique, but have that common thread, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it if you want an easy watch. It's a nice sort of family film, inoffensive.
Is it a good
And
story?
you'll never quite
or-
look. Story's fine. It's kind of what you expect. You'll never look at a Furby the same way again.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that is
got a
hilarious.
song
That is,
for
that
it.
scene.
that is a great scene.
Amazing.
Yeah. If you are
There's
just
a-
looking for an easy, quick watch, and you've got Netflix, I would give it a go. It's just fun.
Does it seem that?
There's a quite a good scene toward the end as well with the dad trying to upload a YouTube video, and he has a literal breakdown.
Yeah, that was quite good. I like the
Quite
dad
enjoyed
in
that
it.
because you can imagine.
So
yeah.
the dad's played by Danny McBride. So he's quite good
I recognise the
in it.
name.
And there's
What's-
you'd recognise his face. You'd know him.
Oh yeah, I've seen that face.
He's from
What's that
Pineapple
like?
Express.
What's that like?
That's what I know him most from.
I remember
Oh
him
yeah,
from like a medieval comedy.
he's in lots of stuff. Yeah, he is. Something...
Oh, I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Is that like Your Highness
Your
or something?
Highness.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
I never saw that.
Did you ever see him? I think he was in and this is not a good film, but Alien Covenant. Did you ever see that?
He
I
was on
did.
that, Yeah.
I think
I hated
he
it.
played. Yeah, it was shit, but I remember him actually being pretty good in that film because he played quite a serious. He normally plays like crappy comical roles, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But I remember him being a bit more serious than that. He was definitely one of the stronger characters from what I remember.
Yeah.
Or the only one that I do remember.
He always reminds me a bit of John C. Reilly. Because he
Yeah.
can kind of do both
He's
quite
kind of,
well.
yeah, he's like the budget one.
Yeah, poor,
I'm sure you'd appreciate that.
poor man's
I'm
John
sure
C.
he would.
Reilly.
Oh, man's John C. Riley. Yeah.
If you're listening,
John
Danny
C. Reilly's-
McBride.
We're sorry. Please sponsor us.
Although, if
yeah.
John C. Riley's listening, then you can sponsor us instead.
So if
'cause he's not budget.
you said these robots are evil,
Yeah. So like straight away as soon as they come out, it's very Iron Man 2 in the way it happens.
Oh, yeah, right.
yeah. So
It's just like immediately evil.
if they were in a resident, they would be resident.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Mark, just say it.
So, Mark, you've been looking at Resident Evil. Oh, now I get it.
It's so your audio's gone.
No, so loud.
The segues have
That'll
legitimately
save it.
hit rock bottom, boys.
I know we were doing so good.
So I watched all 6 of the Resident Evil films
I know, like 23.
because what else is there to do? It felt like there was 23, if I'm honest with you.
I thought there were more than 6 though.
I thought it was
Honest.
1/6.
Yeah, I thought they were like.
So there's
I
6 at
definitely
the
thought
moment.
it
They've
hit 7 or 8. But I always get it
they've
mixed
got
up with
the
Underworld.
the 7th one is coming
so
out
only
later this year.
Is that
it's a kind
within
of
the
a
same
soft
universe? Oh, no.
I think it's
yeah.
a reboot of the first.
Yeah, because this is Welcome to Raccoon City, isn't it, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this one's going to be a bit more truer to the game series.
See, this is kind of why I asked my question earlier about whether we were going to link in the games, because having played the games, perfect adaptations.
Yeah, you don't really need films, I would say. But Mark, you might disagree. Or you might agree.
Well, I think what they did with the films here, with having the character of Alice, who's played by Mila Jovovich, they kept it separate to some extent from the Resident Evil games that were. So when was the first one? 97, I think, was the first game.
Sounds alright.
And
it
then
that late?
2002 was the first film.
Yeah, it's fairly late, I think.
I don't know why I had in my head they were like 92.
No, I don't think it
We're
was.
being fact checked right now.
'Cause they were
I
like-
can confirm that the first game. Can't find the date anywhere.
Nice.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, let's go with that. 1997. Sure. 96.
I mean, I did my
96.
research, so it's
96,
97.
okay.
Oh, there we go, 97. 97, I think, was the UK release.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, so the first film came out in 2002, and I'd probably say it was the best of the bunch, to be honest. There's some quite good bits in it. So it
Yeah.
kind of semi follows the first game. You've got the mansion, but in this you're underneath the mansion in like a hive,
Oh yeah. that's
and
right,
this is where you meet the Umbrella Company, who you will know very well from the games.
yeah. Yep.
And they have the T virus that's been released that's obviously created the zombies within their hive containment that sits underneath the mansion.
Obviously, because what else will a mega corporation do?
Yep, exactly. Makes perfect sense. And Alice wakes up from like an amnesiac gas or something, and it starts going downhill from now, if I'm honest, with all 6 films. But what do you expect with a video game film?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm expecting much more, to be honest.
No,
So
video game adaptations
we
are
follow.
they're always a bit meh, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're never
Yeah,
great.
exactly. I think you've only got so much material to go from, and do you rip off the game completely? I think you've got to kind of
That's the worry, isn't it? Definitely.
Pay homage.
You've got to really balance, especially like I know they probably didn't know it at the time, but because they're gonna such a long running movie series, you really can't just do the games.
Yeah, it's quite funny because with the games as well, they're not really known for like their story. I guess it's more about the atmosphere, isn't it?
No, it's not really. They're not like amazing story. Well, I mean, they're pretty good stories. I think the later ones are better.
I would flat out say they're not good until
Till
maybe 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 and 8. But which is it's a very good point. Definitely, it's a bit. It's just like there are some zombies. You have to shoot them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
survive.
This is
stop
kind
the
of
evil
what I mean.
corporation. Yeah.
So my only exposure until this year had been the films,
Oh my god.
and I knew
wow.
they weren't meant to be. I knew they weren't meant to be very accurate, so I kind of was looking at the games, always wanting to play them, never picking them up. But having now played them, I don't know what else they could really do.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
True. Yeah.
There's not much there
Yeah.
in terms of story. By the
No.
way, I enjoyed the games. Should probably flat out say that now.
But the fact that that's the case, that they did the films, what's the point of them doing them if there was not much there to begin with? It's kind of
Money.
Matt, have you heard of a thing called money? Yeah.
yeah, but there are better things, sure, better game series, surely that have better stories that you could.
Well, there's better things than money, though.
Like-
for
At that
These
time, Metal Gear
corporations.
Solid was around. The story of that is way better.
Yeah, but also
how's the Metal Gear
budget
Solid
of
films
that.
doing?
There aren't any. That's what I'm saying. They could be.
Exactly.
Some producer could have made it.
They've not-
instead of Resident Evil. We'd have had Metal Gear Solid 8.
Metal Gear Solid's getting made there by Jordan Vogt
It
Roberts.
is now, yeah.
Who did
By who? Sorry.
Jordan Vogt Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, Resident Evil films.
Yeah, Resident Evil films.
So we follow Alice, who wants to take down the Umbrella Corporation from literally inside. We
Just got
follow
to press
kind of
that
this
little notch,
girl.
haven't you, in the umbrella? Right.
We follow this kind of. We've got this Red Queen. It's like a little girl AI. We will play the sound bite
Okay.
whenever it wants to run.
I'm gonna press it.
I'll just keep
Full
talking, and
time.
if it
We'll
comes
just-
in.
It'll come in eventually, I'm sure.
Essentially, the Red Queen is stopping Alice and others from containing the outbreak.
Please? You're all going to die down here.
I don't know if you've already said, what is the Red Queen and what is the Red Queen actually?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh,
the
that
Red-
was a better
it's
link.
the-
She's an evil AI.
Yeah.
I'll
too late.
It's
I'll
I'll
edit
modelled
that
after
in.
the.
You fucked it
It's
up
modelled
now.
after the lead scientist's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is the AI,
So
though?
that without saying too much, well, that goes into film too. So like, I'm not
okay.
jumping right now, Matt. We need to slow, put the brakes on, okay?
I don't understand the question.
Full
What do you mean?
steam
What
ahead.
is the AI?
It's an AI. It's trying to stop them from getting into the facility to prevent the T virus outbreak
Okay.
and taking over Raccoon City.
Security system.
Right, okay.
So, questionably one of the better scenes I've seen in these type of films. You've got this kind of laser room defense thing,
Yeah.
and
There was always a laser room
it does.
in the in 2000s, wasn't there? I swear.
I
There's always
can't
a room
believe
with
that
lasers.
made it into the games, by the way. That's in
Really?
one of the games.
What, a laser room?
A laser hallway. Yep.
nice.
Which one? Is it 2?
Is it 4?
It's one you haven't played, Matt.
Oh,
4.
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
It's right towards the end. I know that because I played it about half an hour ago.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we kind of followed Alice kind of throughout all of this, and then she meets up with another person you've got called Matt, and they both get subdued by the Umbrella Scientists at the very end of the film.
I believe his name might be Matt Addison.
No.
So they get subdued, and then it's revealed that they're placed on the Nemesis program, and there starts the next 5 films that follow. So the second one that came out was Resident Evil Apocalypse, and this time we get Jill Valentine, who's from the games.
I love Jill.
And we have an overrun Raccoon City, where the Hive's decided to release the T virus, which has caused like the majority of the city to turn into zombies. And we follow Alice and the survivors. And Alice now all of a sudden has superpowers because video game films. Woo! So that's from the Nemesis program that she's gained these superpowers. And then we find out that the genesis for the T virus is because the scientist that created it, he did so to heal his sick daughter, who the Red Queen is based off of.
Yeah.
But like big corporations do, they've weaponized it.
But the villain in the second one is actually from the third one, isn't it?
Yeah, Nemesis. Who I haven't seen this film in years, but I remember them getting the design like pretty spot on, but then it's kind of ruined when he cries.
Yeah, because it's Matt Addison that turns into him.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Because God.
Yeah.
I always thought it was bullshit. The one guy in a film with my name gets killed immediately in that film.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so they kind of have all these fun set pieces leading up to this showing of Nemesis. With kind of like the zombie dogs that you got in the first game. It's quite good. I really enjoyed it. And then you do see Nemesis and Alice have to fight each other. Because why not have a boss fight, I guess?
I guess so, yeah.
And then you get this kind of human story and he cries and they then team up against Umbrella and they escape before Raccoon
It's like
City
Alien vs.
Does he
Predator.
gets blown up.
Does he team up with them? I don't remember that. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
so like now Nemesis is on side with Alice. It's just,
the film
I can already feel like I'm losing the will as I'm going through these films.
You're too
Just put
in.
less and less details into each review.
Yeah, it generally gets to the point. I think I wrote one line for the last one. So they nuked Raccoon City to do a cover up, and then that moves us on to the next film. So Resident Evil Extinction, which came out in 2007, the T virus has now taken over the world pretty much.
Is this the desert
It's
one?
got kind of it's got a very Mad Max feel to it. It's kind of they're in a convoy going from place to place. We get Claire Redfield make an appearance.
Nice.
Who is
from the games.
Chris Redfield.
Ali no, the girl from Heroes, right?
Oh, right. That's the actress. Yeah.
It's the blonde girl from Heroes, right?
Oh, yeah. I can never
I'll say yes.
What,
I don't know.
Hayden Panettiere?
No, the other
No.
one, the Ali Lartner or something like that. Can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
And then we get Albert Wesker as well.
Best character.
He's cool character in the games, yeah. I can't comment on
So
the film.
this one's a bit jarring because Umbrella make like a ton of Alice clones, and they're trying to replicate what she's got because she essentially can have the virus and not die, and they want to emulate that, and they just keep making tons and tons of versions of her. It's just a bit jarring, if I'm honest. Kind of puts you off.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of fights, and you also get is it the Tyrant from?
Did they ever explain why that one's so deserty, and then I'm pretty sure they just go back to not being deserty?
Yeah, so the next one after that was Resident Evil Afterlife, came out 2010. That one is Alice and her clones, and they attack like a Tokyo base, and it's almost like it feels like the future.
I guess I've seen up to 3 then, because I don't recognise the sound of that one.
Yeah, they're in Tokyo, and then there's loads of rip-off scenes that just feel like The Matrix, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
Well, I like
it's
the
uncanny.
Matrix.
And then Wesker escapes, turns Tokyo into a sinkhole, and then he injects Alice, and she's no longer got superpowers. And if you like slow-mo, this film is for you, because there's like generally a 4-minute scene of just slow-mo
I love
where
a bit
he
of slow-mo.
injects.
I could just hear Mark like
It's-
slowly losing the will to live as he goes through each of these films.
You don't.
I back
no
to
one's
back
forcing
most
you.
of
You don't
these as
have
well.
to do it.
This is my favourite thing. He's been moaning about this for about 2 weeks, that we've like making it sound like we forced him to do that. He chose to do this.
You definitely chose to do this. Yeah.
Could,
I wish
No
I'd
one's
played
got a
Resident
gun
Evil
to
4
his
instead
head.
of this. I just really don't like a lot of the Resident Evil games.
So,
Controversial.
a quick question halfway through. What makes you not like these but enjoy B movies? Because I actually quite enjoy some of these ones.
I
The
didn't
three that
dislike
I've seen.
the first one is good. I enjoyed it. It's fun, but I think it goes down that trap of being extended run times and not much happening.
yeah.
How long are they
B
on
movies are
average?
very like 2 hour mark. I think most
Ooh,
of
yeah,
them.
that's a bit long.
So they are quite lengthy, and I think it's you need something to drag you in. I think if they're like loosely tying each film together, like we loosely tie our segues, it doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah, I always found
Not our segues. Our segues are perfect.
with the ones that I watched, I found had a bit. The other franchise that comes to mind is X-Men. That they'd make this one film and then end it on something quite intriguing,
Oh yeah.
and then immediately in the next film, forget everything about that film, try and do something new, and just none of it fits together.
Yeah.
And when you're 6 films in, you're just like, I have no idea what the hell is going on.
I mean, Afterlife's quite cool in terms of it's set, and it's set kind of. They land a plane on this old abandoned prison. And there's absolute shed loads of zombies on the outside, and you might have seen kind of clips from that one. And we do get Chris Redfield as well turn up in this one, and he's the guy that plays the main character in Prison Break.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Wentworth
right.
Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name.
Wentworth Miller.
that was it.
Yeah, Wentworth Miller.
So are any of the films
Uh,
kind of like, yeah, like what you were saying, Addison, about B movies, that they're kind of not like, you know, you could put them on at a party and have a laugh at them, or are they not even in that category?
I think it kind of sits similarly to almost like Tomb Raider. Like
Oh yeah.
they're trying to emulate. They're emulating a video game. I don't dislike
Hold
the
the
Tomb
fuck-
Raider films. I'm going to preface
Okay.
that.
Just checking.
but no one's saying that they're going to win awards for anything, are they?
No.
They should. All 3 of them are amazing. I will fight you.
Oh, right. I was like, there's a third Tomb Raider film, but yeah, it's the
Yeah, they remade
You
it.
got the Canada one, haven't you?
that's it.
Yeah, I think that it falls into the trap of being linked to a video game. Like they're enjoyable to watch. They're easy just to kind of have in the background, but the storyline when you're reviewing them or kind of discussing them like we are now, it makes it difficult because you go, actually, where are we even at now?
Yeah, yeah.
So before Mark actually goes into depression and tops himself, shall we move on to the video games?
Yeah.
Because I feel
Sure.
like we're just making him sad.
Yeah.
Who's played what so far? Should we do that?
All right. Okay.
So I have played 1 to 4 and 7.
I've played a real mixed bag of them. I've played 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I've skipped 3 and 4 for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've not
Interesting.
finished 1. But
yeah.
Okay.
I've played pretty much all of them, besides Code Veronica.
oh
It's
yeah,
the one I'm not really. I've tried to get.
That's a real deep cut.
we're just talking,
in
just
our
talking
terms.
numbers. We're talking
Have you-
numbers.
There's a sec.
Have
There's
you,
2 of them, isn't there?
There's loads of there's loads of offshoots, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you also played the like OG 2 and 3?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when I say 2 and 3, I'm talking the remasters that came out in the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah, I played the original trilogy and then the remakes. I've played them all.
So Sam is our resident expert.
And then I've played 1 on the PS1, 2 on the PS1, 4, and Resident Evil Survivor 2, Code Veronica, which was the arcade machine one.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
What a shout! So okay, so Mark, you said you're not a huge fan of them, are you?
Yeah, you definitely seem to have the least enthusiasm for this series as a whole.
Yeah, I think, especially when I say that I've played the Survivor 2 one on the arcade machine, that one gives me kind of the most nostalgia. That kind of shoot cover
really cool,
situation. That's the real fun. I think House of Dead was another one, wasn't it? It was very similar.
Yeah.
In kind of its style, you just got to shoot, reload, and make your way through a level. I kind of love that old style of games. Like I really like Outrun as well for racing games because it's got that arcade feel to it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't grow up in arcades.
See, that's interesting.
That's a bit before me.
I just completed Resident Evil 4 literally 2 hours ago.
It's fresh in your memory.
Yeah. As I was playing it, the game that kept coming to mind was Time Crisis 2 for some reason.
Oh, right,
Yes, I can see what you mean.
Reload.
Yeah, I could just see it working in that way, so I'd be quite interested to see a arcade version.
Yeah.
Well, they're with 4, they are actually doing a VR version, aren't they? So I imagine that would be more arcadey.
I would imagine so. I can see it working quite well.
Yeah.
With,
that's probably how I'm going to play it, because I want to play it, but I don't want to play it. If you know what I mean. Yeah.
So I can. I don't know if that's going through my mic. There's kids playing outside and they were just screaming for like 10 seconds.
Oh, I can't hear it.
I can hear it now.
I was like, is that, what the fuck is that coming from?
Save.
So
We're in the basement.
That's your Resident Evil there.
That's throwing me off. So you've just completed 4. So I'm interested to hear like what your thoughts are.
I enjoyed it quite a lot. So I had a bit of a weird like roller coaster with this series. So I played 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Played the semi-remastered one. One seems to have a few different versions.
Yeah, so it's a remake,
and
then that was remastered in HD.
So yeah, I think I played the HD remaster of that remake.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was very different.
Yeah.
Again, it's that
And
same
then-
thing as Mass Effect, where it looks better, but it's still dated because of the animations.
Yeah,
and the,
it was very
gameplay.
dated, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was expecting that. And then 2 and 3, I'm still not sure where I've landed on how much I actually enjoyed them.
Oh, okay.
2 is really good, I think. Like the remaster. I've not played the original, but I
I'll
really
say the
enjoyed
original is
I think
what put me off from the series, I think, because I played them fairly young.
Yeah.
And the tank controls just. It's the orientation with the camera and everything. It's just really quite a struggle. Like a dog will jump through a window, scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, and it's
And you're
such
like,
a
how the
struggle
hell
to
do I
them.
shoot this
Yeah.
thing? Because
Yeah.
I'm pointing in its direction, but the controls are sending me the
Yeah.
other way.
I think I was very lucky in that I knew it was a thing to not waste your ammo. So whenever something like that happened, I just bolted the other way.
Yeah.
I just ignored it.
That's
because,
good, because I can't do that.
Yeah.
I just physically can't do it. I
yeah,
don't know why.
I knew that was the best way to play, so I just did it like that. 2 and 3, I just got really impatient with them. I enjoyed 2 when it was in the police station.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. Yeah, it's really good.
And actually, I find this with all of them so far. The first location I will really enjoy, and then as soon as it moves on from that, I get a little bit bored and I just want to complete it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that is a common problem with all of them. Actually, I will say that. Not so much Resident Evil 5 or 6 because they don't really have.
I would say
adaptation,
4
but-
is the exception for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the village to start was quite boring, isn't it? You kind of want
I
to get.
hated
to
the village. It's really difficult. It's a hard start. I found.
That's interesting because I love the first location in Resident Evil 4, and I hate it when it goes to like the castle.
I like it, but it's difficult. And I liked the castle because I felt like I had a hand on it by that point, which is the second location.
Yeah.
And I knew what I was doing. And then it takes you to a third location, and I went back to kind of not getting on with it. I felt like 4, I kind of knew why it was popular at the time.
Yeah.
Because it is massively refreshing after playing the other ones. And I kind of get why it would have been so popular with the fans and non-fans, because it does change so lot whilst kind of sticking in the same realm.
Yeah.
It's that route that they went down, isn't it? After 3, yeah, definitely. You could tell like they were going more towards the action, and eventually like 6 is like fully action. And it's just like crap.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
with I think it's just the development of Resident Evil 4 in general.
Yeah, it had loads of different
Iteration
things.
Yeah,
didn't it?
and there were games that were then just turned into other big franchises. So
Wasn't Devil May Cry one of
yeah,
them?
Devil May Cry I think was originally being
Yeah.
designed as like the first PS2 Resident Evil game, and then they were like,
So weird.
This is strayed
It's
way
crazy, right?
Yeah, they were like, this is strayed way too far from the series, but this is good, so let's just make this its own thing.
Yeah.
And then you got another series called Onimusha, which is it's basically if Resident
Okay.
Evil was in feudal Japan, and you just replace zombies with
That
demons.
sounds badass.
It's so
Yeah.
good. They need to bring it back. I fucking love it. It's like it's such a good series, like underrated series.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, there's
Um,
HD remaster of the first one on the Switch, so pick that up.
Maybe I will at some
Check
point.
it out.
Oh, if only they did it on the Switch, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up quite enjoying 4.
Okay.
Okay.
More than 3, definitely. Possibly not more than 2. I'm still undecided.
Yeah, for me, like you said, I think it was a huge refresher for the series, and it did introduce some very cool things, like obviously the fixed camera angles and the tank controls weren't the most popular thing, and definitely needed updating, but it also, for me, introduced a lot of terrible things to the series, which had like really
The
bad.
quick time events.
Yes, yeah.
Are
God,
horrendous.
Fucking
Yeah.
hate them with a passion.
Although I did find out, because all it ever does really is do square and X at the same time, or do the triggers at the same
Yeah.
time. You can press all 4
And it
at the
doesn't.
same time, and it's
Oh
fine.
wow!
It doesn't register you as getting it wrong.
Play the game.
So I
Cheat
just did that.
Because isn't there
Yeah,
a boss battle which is like all quick time events, like a knife fight?
yeah. There's one, and then kind of carries on to his fight because you fight him. a few times.
Yeah.
But yeah, one is basically all quick time.
Yeah.
It and the controls are janky. A byproduct of it being from like 2004.
Yeah. I think
But it is janky.
that's the thing.
That's my biggest issue, I think, with 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that's going to get solved in the VR version, where obviously it's going to be you actually in the game. So I don't know. I imagine that's going to
I
help
don't
a lot.
know, because the main problem playing it now is that you can't move and shoot at the same time. But I think that would be perfect for VR.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine they're not going to do much, and that's probably why they're doing it as a VR game.
It's an interesting
Yeah,
choice.
because it's more scary, isn't
Yeah.
it? If they can move towards you and you can't move as you're
Yeah.
shooting.
That's weird though, because I can move my legs, so technically I could move if I just walk across the living room.
Yeah. Maybe they'll give you that leeway, but that
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to move much.
Maybe, yeah.
I
It'll
don't-
be interesting
I don't know,
to
I
see.
haven't really played VR, so I don't really know how the controls work too much.
They vary a lot.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to
No,
see how it plays on it. I'm looking for. I think that I will actually play that, because it's only 3 in that one I've not played. So
Right.
out of the main series anyway, I've not played all the offshoots. But I do want to play it in VR just to get a bit more of the story. Really, I don't know if it's worth doing. But
For Resident Evil. did
yeah,
you say?
yeah.
Don't bother. The story's shit. I don't understand why people bum it. This is my main thing with this game. I was always looking at that series going that sounds fascinating. I've got no idea how they link all that together. How do they go from being in Raccoon City to this weird town that you start in Resident Evil 4? It doesn't fucking matter.
There's
all bullshit.
no
Th-
nothing. Yeah.
This is the B movie of video games. The story's crap, the acting's crap, but it's kind of fun.
Up until a point, up until 7.
7, yes, I will contend, is actually quite good.
I think with Resident Evil 4, I think it's just in dire need of a remake.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it did hold up for a few years.
I would play it again if it had a
Yeah.
remake. I would love to see what they could do with it with modern graphics, modern
Yeah.
gameplay. Because
if
it
you
would be
could aim and
totally
shoot.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I think you aim and shoot, it becomes quite an easy game.
It must be next on the cards though, because they've done 2 and 3 now.
I think it is.
More than 3 tracks of music. Oh my god, it drove me batty. You go and battle it, plays the same 3-second loop
Yeah.
for like
I
20
remember
minutes.
the enemies say the same things in Spanish, like over and over again. It's just the same track.
You're just like, yes, I get it. Oh, speaking of repetitive noises, Matt, have you got that soundbite? She is the worst character I have ever seen in a video game.
It's
And there's
awful.
some contenders.
I've not played it and it's awful. Why is she
think
so? Why is it so often? That's what I want to know. Like why?
That is like in real time.
I know.
Yeah.
She gets caught like 3 fucking times, and when you get moderately close to catching her up, like the best thing is that she gets kidnapped, but the worst thing is that she gets kidnapped and then you find her again. Because when you're close, she just does that whilst you're in the room,
Yeah.
and you're nowhere near her, so you still got like 15 enemies to kill, and she's just doing that the whole time. Oh my god,
Oh yeah.
drove me nuts.
That's again about Resident Evil 4. Like for me, every time it gets to the part where you're having to escort, is it Ashley? Is that her name?
Yeah.
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 And any time you get to that point when you're having to escort her, I'm just like, this game is horrible. Like
That's games in general, though,
gen-
isn't it?
Poor
She genuinely ruins it. There was
yeah.
I put it down at some point when she'd been kidnapped, and then I played through the whole section where you don't have her, and I was really enjoying it. And then I got to a room where she starts doing that crap, and genuinely I went, right, enough for today. I'm putting it down.
I'm surprised when they weren't having like the game testers test the game that people didn't go, this bit is really shit. Can you take this out?
Yeah.
Just like
It probably wasn't at the time, though. I think escort missions became quite a big thing,
were,
along
weren't
with
they?
like
Yeah.
quick time events.
yeah, it's just how much she talks. Her voice is just grating. It cuts right through you.
It's quite funny as well because in comparison, like you've got like The Last of Us, which does escort mission amazingly.
Yeah, it was Last of Us and BioShock Infinite came to mind because they're like they're escort missions, but they're very passive. They
Yeah.
back off and do their own little thing.
They're
whilst
kind of like background.
dealing with people.
Yeah.
And they don't
Yeah.
shout at you constantly.
No.
Yeah.
But they're a lot newer, so I don't know. That's kind of a new concept at the time, I guess. It's
Yeah. Also, I thought she was like 12, and then she obviously like taken back to her place or something. At
What?
the end. Yeah. She goes like, "Do you want to take up another mission?" Or she says something
What?
like that right at the end on the jet ski. And I know
Oh
this
my
'cause I
God.
played it about 2 hours ago. I swear she was 12.
that's
Yeah, I thought
soundbite.
she was supposed to be like 14 at like most.
Yeah. It's really weird. He says no, so
Oh, that's good. Thank Christ.
she could be, I guess, but what
Yeah.
the fuck?
What's going on with Marc and Matt?
I don't know. Did they hear
Match
something
went,
that we
that could be a
didn't?
soundbite. He's like, that could be a soundbite. Addison saying that. I'm like, for his sake, don't, because you did that to me, you little wanker.
What did I even say?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's interesting. No, it is generally interesting to hear like your take on it, having never really played the series until like this year.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of cool to hear that people can still get enjoyment out of it.
As a whole, I have really enjoyed it. There's just there's little things that are always the things that come to mind when you talk about them.
Yeah, I played one recently, the HD remaster. And I did really enjoy it. I just haven't gone back to it because I'm playing other games. But
Yeah,
it was
that's my personal favorite.
yeah, it was really good. And
I can
even
see
the
why
mechanics,
people love it.
yeah, I can get over the mechanics. They're not that bad. It's kind of if you go back to Metal Gear Solid 1, again, it's the same sort of mechanics. Really, it's not that bad. It's playable, but you wouldn't expect that nowadays. But you wouldn't have to because the games have a lot more money and there's a lot better technology nowadays. So it's there's a lot of the time. I think they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do miss from that first one the batshit combinations of stuff they want you to put together.
Oh, it's mental. Yeah.
It is
The
insane.
puzzles are so good.
Yeah.
They're
They
so
have
mad.
it's there a bit in 2, 3. I'm pretty sure they just do away with it almost completely. and then 4, it's so linear.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
not there at all.
It's a shame. Yeah, it's same,
It is a shame.
Same with 5, same
And then
with
it
6.
it kind of comebacks in 7,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
again, it's not quite as batshit. It all kind of makes sense because it's grounded.
Yeah. There's some nice puzzles in 7 actually. Yeah, it was like there's like a shadow on the wall,
7
and you have to match.
yeah.
You have to match the shadow
7
on
gets
the
a
wall.
good mix.
It is a good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good mix of combat and a good mix of like the horror elements and the puzzle elements.
That's in VR as well, isn't it?
It is on
it
PlayStation.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the remake of the first one, I think, is kind of Resident Evil in its kind of almost like purist form.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like absolute like puzzles that make no sense for being there. You're like,
Yeah.
why are these puzzles here? But I love that I had to figure this out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
It is ridiculous.
Batshit combinations.
Yeah.
Just every scary enemy you could think of. They're like, all right, we've got sharks, we've got spiders,
Yeah.
we've got fucking zombies,
I would also say that
crows.
yeah, the puzzles never get too
Plants.
difficult in that first one, aside from like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
where I was like, I am looking up a guide because I don't know what I'm meant to be doing.
Did a Matt?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I don't think I did. I think I asked you for a solution.
Oh yeah,
That counts.
You did, yeah.
That counts.
Yeah.
He got a hint from the walkthrough himself.
Mr. Walkthrough.
Our resident walkthrough.
Jumping onto that one feeling where it's that pure Resident Evil. I feel like
Yeah.
8 is pretty close with it.
Yeah.
I would say, in terms of that.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
Oh, honestly, this is not a Mattism again, but it's the game of the year for me so far.
Same.
Yeah, it is.
I definitely didn't think you were going to add so far.
Well, there's like, we're only halfway through. It's only May, so
Yeah. I think Resident Evil 8 is, if you took Resident Evil 1, 4, and 7, put them into a mountain pot, that's your game. And I think that... and then
Okay,
take
that's
all-
great because that is literally my favourite.
yeah.
Three.
Yeah.
If I
take
had to
all the-
pick 3.
They take all the best elements from them and just like, it works so fucking well.
Yeah, it's
So
phenomenal.
I've heard they've tried to tone down the horror from 7 a bit. Is that what you
Yes,
found a bit?
I would say like most of the game is, but there is one part of the game which is the most horrific thing you'd ever seen in your life.
Okay.
I won't
No
spoil
more,
it.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I won't spoil
Yeah.
it, but that part is like, it still haunts me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you reckon that
is
was-
like a scare or is it like
Bit of
gore
both.
sort of
Bit of
thing?
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of both.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you reckon that's kind of pandering to the audience a little bit? Because some people might have kind of been put off playing 7 based on...
When you're playing it, it doesn't feel like that. It feels very organic and it feels like it should be part of the game. So I think it's fine to
Yeah.
be in the game. It's
I think with 7, it was more of a kind of in your face, like almost like jump scare horror.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas again, I feel like I keep
It wasn't
saying the word
so
atmosphere.
graphic horror.
Yeah.
You say it wasn't graphic horror.
It wasn't as
Oh.
graphic horror as 8, I would say. No, definitely not.
What do you mean by graphic then? Because I would say
So
that
like,
7 is very visual horror. Like it
Well,
was the
it is,
visuals
but
that
you-
get me.
Limbs coming off and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like 8 is another level on top of that in terms of like,
I think that's one of those ones I'd have to play it to understand what you mean.
yeah, I feel like it's very hard to explain, but I feel like 7 is a bit more down to earth,
Okay.
whereas 8 is a bit more fantastical. Is that a word?
I
Yeah.
kind of get that from
Yeah.
the trailers.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
There's
Yeah.
Lady da-da-da-da-da-da.
Lady
Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu. Yeah.
Dimitrescu.
That's her
No,
name.
yeah. Dimitrescu. Yeah.
Just her being in there is very... I feel that's a bit of a callback to Mr. X and Nemesis.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
She's
feels
like
like
that.
it.
she's the follower,
Pseudo character.
the stalker.
Yeah, because
yeah.
you have a stalker in 7 in Jack, but
You do. It
he's
doesn't
not-
feel like
No,
that as
he
much,
doesn't.
does it? Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't realise that was even a thing within Resident Evil until I got to like 3,
Yeah.
when it does it twice in 2 games in a row.
Oh yeah.
2 and 3. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Interesting
funny.
that 1 doesn't have that. Actually.
I know. Yeah. It's like that's kind of what.
I think that's another thing that really put me off 2 and 3. By the way, as a little addition, I love the concept. Hated the execution in both of them.
They are kind of annoying. I will say that.
They really, really irritated me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I can see them being. Yeah, I can see them being irritating.
It is. Yeah. It is a great horror concept, though.
It sounds really cool. If you told me that was a mechanic if I was going in, I'd be like, fantastic, love that idea, can't wait to get to it. But once I was in it, I was like, no, fuck off. I just want to go to that room and get that thing.
It's actually quite spooky in a way. Well, it's not spooky, but it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know. I start shitting my pants when they start coming. I'm like, oh god.
I would say that Mr. X is definitely done better than Nemesis.
Yeah,
in the remasters at the very least.
You can dodge it for free, can't you? In the remaster.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
at times, and then sometimes he just grabs you, even though he was nowhere fucking near you.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with Mr. X, he feels more random, whereas Nemesis feels more like set pieces.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and that kind of, I like the randomness of Mr. X.
There was a lot of times where it felt like I could have killed Mr. X, even though I couldn't.
Yeah.
With Nemesis, it never felt like that.
Yeah, it's a shame. I feel like
sounds so traumatized.
Yeah, I feel like
that was so irritating.
I feel like with Lady Dimitrescu, whatever her name is, it's so hard to know how to say her name.
Yeah,
but
pretty much got it.
I feel like that's closer to the Mr. X concept, definitely. With that, it's more random, and it's done pretty well in the game, and like the mansion itself is phenomenal. It's stunning. It's like a masterpiece of gaming.
It looks cool in the trailers I've seen.
Yeah, and this is my second technical nerdy graphic thing. This is the last time. It's going to be brief, but I've been playing it in 4K on PC, and it's the best looking game I've ever played so far. It looks stunning. It's not a matter.
Best ever.
So far, it is the best looking game I've ever played. It like the textures and everything, and like how it plays. You know, the visuals of the cutscenes, they look amazing.
What are you playing on, out of interest? Your X, Series X?
No, PC. I'm
he literally said PC.
Yeah.
Like, you may have said that. I may have.
I did. Yeah. But don't worry. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. It's like there's no better game that I've played on PC yet. I haven't picked up anything that recent on PC really, other than Crash Bandicoot, which isn't really a graphical masterpiece. But it looks like the setting of the whole village and the castle just looks incredible. And I'm sure it's probably the same on consoles as well, I imagine.
Yeah, the real question here is, do you think it'll look this good on Switch?
It won't come out.
Do you want an answer?
Well, it'll be a cloud version. It'll be a cloud version.
It would definitely be a cloud version.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think just because for Resident Evil 7, that's when they built the RE engine.
Yes,
and they've used that for the remake of 2 and 3.
Okay, so this is their own. This is their own engine.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's
really good. It's a good engine. It looks like
it looks great, and it runs really smoothly.
Yeah. Even like on consoles as well. Like I'm playing Resident Evil 8 on my Xbox One X, and it offered like a resolution or a performance mode. So I picked performance mode. Sorry, Marc's
disgusted.
One X.
Yeah.
Peasant. But yeah, I played it in performance mode because I wanted to get like the 60 frames per second. But even so, the textures look great. Like they're fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It genuinely.
It's a very well optimized game.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, but
do you think it will handle well on? Sam, you're in the same boat as me actually. Old as fuck. Xbox.
Yeah,
you've got slightly newer ones.
Yours
Sam's
maybe
like,
not.
how dare you?
Yeah.
You've got the old one.
Yours is the
same boat.
Addison, yours is the original one. Yours might actually take off.
Okay.
I imagine it'll be alright with the performance mode.
Well, that's if they offer it on the base models, because that was the thing they
set the textures to 0.
It would just be performance mode, I
My
suppose.
Xbox is so old.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I want to be optimistic and say yes, but
it's cool. It'll be a while before I play it because I do think I'm going to go Mass Effect first.
Yeah. How did like 7, 2, and 3 look on the base?
Looked perfect to me. Like absolutely fine.
All right,
sure it'll play fine.
I was playing 2 and 3 on my PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
not the Xbox.
Was that a base PlayStation?
But the PlayStation is a base PlayStation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like the 8 would be very comparable to. I feel like 8 would be very comparable to 7 in terms of graphics. Yeah, it's a bit better, but
Yeah, I can't remember ever getting frustrated by it.
No, I'm sure.
Any technical issues.
No.
So it should be fine.
But
Has it got a very similar runtime, hasn't it?
it's about 10 hours, isn't it? The new
Yeah.
one.
So it's similar to 7 in that case, then, isn't it?
I would say you don't want any Resident Evil going above that, because when they do, I
don't tend to like games.
I want to get to the end.
Yeah, I don't tend to like games that are longer than that, to be honest. I think that's that's just about right. I don't. When a game says, like Biomutant, it's basically, I read this morning that the runtime of that is like 12 hours if you do nothing extra. And that kind of puts me off, because that's actually like, I'm going to want to do like side quests.
12 hours?
Yeah,
That's
12
not
hours.
that much more.
Well, no, but that's without doing side quests and everything, you know.
Oh, I see.
And that's like a massive open world exploration thing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be like 20 hours at least, you know.
I've kind of shat on the overarching story a little bit. How much does it tie in to that? Because 7 was very detached up until the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same in that respect. It follows on from 7.
Yeah.
So it's Ethan Winters again. So it's the same character. But
because he didn't even have a last name in 7, did he?
No, I don't think he did. No,
From what I remember.
Yeah. But so so it follows on from his story basically, and again it's very disconnected, but it's connected in the same universe. So I've not got to the end yet, but I imagine I don't know, it might tie in again more at the end, the same as 7 did. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I
At the moment, it's quite loose.
This is one of those trends that 4 kind of started, because 4 is very clearly within the universe, but is very separately telling another story.
Yeah.
It just happens to have used a character that was in it before.
Yeah, I feel like this is more linear in terms of story with 7.
Yeah.
So it's the same character, and you're following.
I quite
his story.
like that, because I did enjoy 7.
Yeah. I think
I would say it's probably my favourite that I've played.
Yeah, I would say 8 isn't as scary. Personally, I don't know what you think, Sam.
I think it's less in-your-face horror. I think 7 relied a lot on like jump scares. I think this is more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
More like, I keep saying atmosphere, but it's more atmospheric.
It is very,
that's
very
interesting,
atmospheric,
because it is normally the atmospheric games that I find scarier.
Okay, so you might find this scary. I mean, like I said earlier, there's that one point that is really scary, but that's kind of
like jump scares get me.
Yeah,
because I'm skittish.
It's just a natural response.
It's always the atmosphere that's built that always sucks me in a bit more.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Alien Isolation. That is terrifying, actually, in places.
That's a good one.
When there's nothing there, and you don't know if there's nothing there, but there probably isn't anything there. Yeah, that is a scary feeling. I don't think doesn't do it quite as well as Alien Isolation, but
no,
it's certainly very, very good.
Mark, so you haven't played 7, have you? Or 8?
No, 7 isn't a game I got around to. I think for me, I was so off put by 4 in the way it handled.
Yeah.
And
it's
I know
like
it was
4.
kind of a big innovator at the time.
I
know. And then I think, what was it, 5 was fairly good, wasn't it? But then 6 was the one that really went off the rails. Or have I got the wrong way around?
Yeah.
Pretty
5,
accurate there, yeah.
Yeah, 5 was a good co-op game. And then 6.
I think 7 had to be so different, didn't it? Because the game that preceded it wasn't.
That's the thing. I think they just wanted to kill it off basically with that concept. Yeah.
I think 7 intrigues me, and I want to play it. And I've just found since I've got older, like generally playing horror games like does me in.
Does it?
I was playing Alien Isolation, and I was like having to put it down after an hour. I was like, my heart's
getting too dark.
I can't deal with it.
Oh, it's getting too dark in here. Yeah.
I think I've gone the other way. I think when I was younger, I really didn't like playing horror games.
Same, yeah.
Whereas now, I love them, and they always get me so much more than films do.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why I like them, because films used to get me, and now they never do.
I like that feeling you get in your chest when you're like you're tense from when you're like
when you're like you're peeking around a corner so slowly, because you don't know what's going to get you.
Exactly.
I love it.
The first moment when you first encounter someone like Mr. X and they're like chasing you, the fucking feeling of tension I get in those
know.
moments sometimes.
It's like,
nothing. It's like, oh my god, it's right next to me. But Mark,
That's
I
exactly
think
it. Yeah.
if you can find 7 for like cheap, I would say give it a go. Or like a
Seven's
demo.
on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh wow,
It
yeah.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
I
You
think
should definitely
that's
play it.
that's how I played it.
Any of our
Wow.
viewers, you should play Resident Evil 7.
Yeah,
Even
I
if
think
you've never played any of the other ones.
It is
game.
currently a Microsoft Rewards thing as well. It's like their quest.
There we
they
go.
do. If you do 5
There you go.
items, you get 150
You get
points or
some-
whatever.
yeah.
Xbox points.
So
or
I've been
whatever they are.
tempted.
I think
I
you
have
might
been
like that
tempted
one.
to just play it.
I would
I did
definitely give
enjoy
it a
the
go
trailer.
because
Not like
yeah,
a first person
I think
shooter.
I think you would like it. I remember playing Layers of Fears with you back in there, and it has that sort of vibe to it a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the first person
that sort of
angle change really like
massively.
modernizes it, and even in
Yes.
2 and 3 when they go back over the shoulder, it still feels more like 7 and 8, despite it being
Yeah.
third person. Just the way it like controls and the layout of like, the inventory and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, because it's in the same engine, I guess. So I reckon give 7 a crack.
I think so.
Maybe you'll
yeah.
be
And then-
converted.
I would. I personally would suggest for you personally 7, maybe not 2 and 3. I don't think you'd go on with them.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did enjoy
Yeah.
the 1 and 2, the originals, kind of back in the day, but
Yeah.
haven't really sat and gone through them again. I know that they're kind of available everywhere. I've got a PlayStation Classic that they're on there as well if I want to play them again.
Oh yeah.
It is
Yeah,
weird
I
how
think-
Resident Evil really veered off its path after 4. Even started to do 2 with 4, I guess. It's strange how they just changed it so drastically.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of ironic because I almost feel like this is gonna sound so cheesy,
Oh god, here we go.
but I feel like Resident Evil almost had to get terrible
To
to remind people what made it great in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
6 had such an identity crisis. It was like it offered you an action campaign, a more horror one, but not really, and then a really like supernatural one.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to
I kind of want to
if
try
they're
the
ever
supernatural
on a
one.
super cheap
Yeah.
deal. I think I'll pick up 5 and 6 just to kind
I
of
got it on PC the other week. for
see what they're
£4.
like.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, something like that. I think I'd give that a go just to kind of see what they're like.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
great.
I mean,
No, I know. I know they're not meant to be good, but
they're perfectly enjoyable games, but I think just
Yeah.
in terms of Resident Evil standard, they just don't hold up.
yeah.
No. Especially the newer ones. They just blow them out of the water. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 8, very, very enjoyable game. That's for sure. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
probably going to play it after we finish this podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm really happy just to see that Resident Evil is still going and it's still going strong as well because like it's probably my second favorite game series after Metal Gear, and obviously Metal Gear's kind of like died.
Yeah.
I know, it's sad. It's quite sad. But at least
that
Resident Evil's
got-
still going.
Old Yellen, didn't it?
Did a
a little
bit,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like Resident Evil's still going though, and it's going strong.
It's going strong. I know, it's good. It's nice to have a comeback. There's not many games that can do that. Yeah.
I think when you've got a franchise that's been going that long as well, you have to try new things. 7 was kind of
I
a
know,
big
that-
change for them, wasn't it? In
there
terms of
must
what
be
they were
like
doing.
20 games.
Probably, yeah.
There
Overall.
must
Yeah,
be.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
kind
A
of
lot of
spin-off
spin-offs.
ones like Code Veronica, the arcade ones, like Dead Aims, and
Revelations.
it was like a
Revelations,
CRT shooter.
Isn't there one called Zero or something as well?
Oh, there
Yeah,
is a Zero,
Resident
yeah.
Evil Zero, yeah.
I think
Plays
Zero
like
was
the-
essentially a remake of 1 though, wasn't it?
No, it's
Or am I
a
lying?
prequel,
uses-
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a prequel. It uses the same engine as the #1 remake though, so it plays like very similarly to that.
Ah.
Quick question for people who've played Resident Evil 4, because I've just had this thought and you're here. Who the fuck is Ada? And why am I meant to know her?
Oh,
She's
she's in the second one.
yeah, she's
Is she?
Yeah,
She's
she's the FBI
in the red
CIA
dress.
person.
in 2. She's on Leon's campaign.
Oh, I didn't play that.
Oh, did you?
Oh.
Oh my god!
Ah.
Have you only played one of the? So not like, did you just play Claire's one then?
Yeah, because you said it was basically the same thing twice.
He lied.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Okay.
Maybe I said that.
Play. Okay, I would if you get a chance go back and play Leon's because it does.
How long is it? Is it because if it is the same
It's
game
the same
again,
length.
I'm not
It is
doing
the same
it.
game again. basically.
I'm not doing that.
No, but it
Can't be asked.
includes new things. And
I don't care.
you meet Ada Wong.
I was because they I was clearly meant to have known her, and I was like, is this from a side game that I don't know about?
Yeah, she's in 2, and then in Resident Evil
okay.
6, she's an unlockable campaign. So there's 4 campaigns.
Fuck off! I'm not
Oh,
playing that.
yeah, she is, isn't she?
I think it's like the longest in the series.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's got
I remember
so
it being.
many.
I remember when I played it. I literally played it until the final boss fight. Couldn't kill the final boss. It was just winding me up, so I just put it down. I never picked it up ever again.
What's that? Sorry, Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 6.
6,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I literally got to the end and I couldn't be bothered
Yeah.
to finish it.
That's kind of how I keep getting with them. A
Yeah.
bit. Not so much 7, but I keep getting towards the back end of it and going. I just want us to be done.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find that problem.
I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy them.
I don't think you're gonna find that problem with 8. I think you'll enjoy it because I'm at the point now where I'm getting towards the end, but I really want to get towards the end. Like I want to see it. Not because I want to hurry it up. I actually I just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think 8 probably has like the strongest cast of characters. Like they're very unique. It kind of reminded me of Metal Gear a bit, like with the bosses.
Fucking hell.
It is
heard
a bit.
they've,
Yeah.
Have they brought
4.
back the merchant from 4?
A character like that, yeah, not the exact same
I
guy.
quite like this random guy or guys.
What are you selling?
Yeah. My favourite thing is that you'd go talk to him, buy something, go off in the next room, this dramatic thing would happen. And I just like the idea of him being like, oh, noise coming from that other room.
I know. Yeah. It's
Yeah, there
exactly the
is
same
one,
in this
isn't
one.
there?
Yeah.
I think I know what fight you mean actually.
Yeah. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah, his voice is just so iconic. It's just like
Yeah. I like that character. Characters.
Thank you.
Is it meant to be the same guy?
No. What?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. What do you mean? Throughout,
The merchant.
as in
In 4.
in 4.
In
the same-
4,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I believe so. Anyway, but in 8 you got the Duke, who he's a really good character actually. He's
He's a good character. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That. Yeah.
So there's going to be quite a lot of people that wouldn't have touched Resident Evil, and kind of Resident Evil 8's release might be looking at kind of going potentially back and playing other games. I was kind of wondering what you guys thought would be a game you suggest to someone. If someone came to you and said, never played Resident Evil at all, ever, which one would you say go away and play?
I personally, having done them, would say hop in on 7.
Yeah, I would say 7. Yeah. Because I think it's the most modern. It's the most modern one, but it's the start. It's kind of the start of a story, even though
Yeah,
it's
the
not.
other ones are far too dated.
Yeah.
You can get away with 2 and 3 remaster, but they lean quite heavily on 1 still somehow.
Yeah, you don't need to know the story before 7 to play 7.
So you go for 7, especially
Yeah.
because it's so accessible as well with being on Game Pass and
Yeah. I even
Yeah.
think like.
relatively cheap, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think the story from 8 you kind of need to play 7 to get that. I think.
yeah. It's definitely the most linked. And yeah, I think if someone, like you said, if someone's gearing up to want to play 8, play 7. It's not my personal favorite, but it's definitely the one that links best to that one.
Oh, it's good though.
It's a good one. It was a return to form.
And if there was a T virus outbreak, what's the one you're taking with you?
what game?
What game?
Yeah,
8.
what's the one Resident Evil game you're taking if you got a T virus
remake of
outbreak?
1.
100% 8. No, 8.
Resident Evil 4 because it doesn't have the T virus in it.
I'll say
I can pretend it doesn't
I'll
exist.
do the remake of 1 so I can just combine anything and make a weapon out of it. Probably
Solve the puzzle. Yeah.
take a plant roots and a shark and throw them together.
And you've got the cure.
What Up It is not your boy. Goodbye.
Gotta finish it with that now. And that is it. We hope you enjoyed listening to our Tepid Take.
If you want to send us your tepid takes, then email us at thetepidtake@outlook.com.
And give us a follow and a like on Instagram at The Tepid Take.
And we've been the fucking, what's it called again?